Oh, man. First round robin GMing game I ever played. It was a blast. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, go to Frontrodden's channel and check it out. It's hilarious. If you want to laugh, you will laugh hard. Because it's just ridiculously hilarious. But I just have a few comments I'm gonna make about the round robin GMing thing. I actually think it could become like a thing, you know, like a category of game. Cause it was a blast. It's nice, you know. There's a ton of people on the OSG that are GMs, so why not? But personally, I think it should be done slightly differently. Because when you're watching, at least the game I was in, that I felt while playing and even after watching it, there were quite a few dead spots. And I think, at least on my part, I was just really confused as to whether, you know, was it my turn to GM or am I playing, or, you know, I was confused as to what was going on mechanically. And at first, I didn't know whether or not I was supposed to be keeping the spirit of the initial, you know, thoughts of Chepe alive in the thing, or just adding in my own stuff. So, you know, it was a little bit confusing. So here's what I think we should do with the idea of round robin GMing. I was thinking maybe the GM should be more of a director, and the group of GMs should each take a scene and GM for the group instead of a single particular player. They should GM for the group. For an example, 5 guys are playing. It's a party of 5. Party of 5? And one of the party at any given point is the acting GM. You know, the GM goes through a scene, everybody has a chance to do something within the scene, and then they pass the torch to the next GM, and so on and so forth. I think, or I hope, that would kind of be a little bit more coherent, or coherent continuity. I don't know, just a little less confusion is what I'm hoping for, to keep the game, you know, going, so at least you guys watching don't have to deal with as many dead spots or uncomfortable silences. Well, I don't even know if uncomfortable silences. You might just be watching us break down in laughter, as we did. But yeah, any one GM, GMing not for a single player, but for the entire group. And maybe using the chat box as you know, a behind the scenes sort of setup. Like, okay, scene is about to end, take it, you know, in the chat box, so that the next person is at least preparing for when it's their turn. I know you guys won't be able to see the chat box, but I don't know, these are just some thoughts I'm having now after the fact. What else? Oh, you know, I watched Fiasco, a game of Fiasco. I watched it on tabletop because it, you know, they try to teach you how to play a little bit, and that's kind of like, you know, Act 1, Act 2. What if our round robin GMing was set up similarly to that, where there was an Act 1, Act 2, the setup and the conflict, you know, and it looked like, you know, only 2 players were interacting, but instead of just 2 players interacting, 1 DM is interacting with the players, and that's a scene. Juve was every time he GM'd, at least in the beginning before it started getting really ridiculous, you could tell he was done with his portion of GMing by saying, and that scene. Maybe we could call the end of our GMing with that. End scene. Boom. Next GM. Stuff happens. End scene. Boom. Next GM. Stuff happens. End scene. You know, I think it's a pretty interesting idea. You know, once I get a little bit more comfortable with the whole Google Plus thing and performing not for an actual crowd but for viewers, I think I'll give that a try. Anyway, any sort of thoughts, comments, and suggestions on how you can improve a round-robin GMing game would be greatly appreciated. Because I think it could really, you know, the game was awesome. And I think just the thought of round-robin GM is awesome because there's so many GMs out here. You know, and you get to just taste everyone's flavor. That sounded wrong. Wow. I think I'm still in character. Anyway. That's my thoughts, comments around Robin GMing. I hope you enjoyed. Hope to get your brains going. Hope to see some comments from you guys. Peace.